My name is Bastien Paré and I'm from Laval University at the LOX lab. I've been studying ALS for more than 5 years. I'm quite different from most people that are working on neurons and trying to understand like the neurodegenerative part of ALS. So I'm working on ALS in the skin of patients. So we think that the skin might be a good human model to study ALS and then discover new biomarkers or understand how the disease works and even try new drugs for possible treatment of the disease. At first I was studying Alzheimer's disease and then going on about some proteins that could be related to ALS. Then I was able to meet people that were affected with the disease and then meeting people affected with this terrible disease that is ALS. Then it keep me going about studying ALS and trying to discover something about it and understand more the disease. What we aim to is to be able to discover biomarkers that could help in the pre-diagnostic part of the disease. So if we are able to detect ALS before the apparition of symptoms and then neurodegeneration, then when there will be a drug available for those patients, we will be able to give this drug earlier in the life of those patients. So we think it might be able to delay the development of ALS in those patients or related ones to ALS patients. We think there's still a lot to do about ALS, but we're working on understanding how the disease works so we can pinpoint specific drugs that would help treat the disease. So right now where we are, I guess, is we're trying to better understand how the disease works so we can test drugs that could be specific to those phenomena in ALS patients and then be able to treat this terrible disease. I think clinical trials and people affected with ALS participating in those trials is very important because without them, those drugs couldn't be tested and then we wouldn't know if they work or not. We know it's hard for ALS patients to get treated. Sometimes those treatments are hard to live with, but this is very essential to the discovery of drugs that could work for all ALS patients and then delay the development of the disease or even stop it. Of course, it's important, I guess, to donate to ALS Canada or patients because without this money, it would be hard for us to use like the newest technologies to be able to study phenomenon about ALS, how ALS works in patients, and then, as I said, try new drugs and pinpoint drugs or chemicals that could be very good treatment to delay or stop the progression of the disease. So this money, I guess, is very important to add financial to those labs that maybe don't have it or students that still need this money to buy new equipment and do new techniques that I guess are very important for discoveries of those drugs and supporting ALS patients.